How selling my grandmother's house unearthed a decades-old feud. When my grandmother passed away last spring, my family gathered at her old brick bungalow to clean, sort, and eventually sell it. The place smelled faintly of lavender and old books, and every corner was stuffed with memories, quilts she sewed in the 60s, Polaroids of neighborhood block parties, mismatched china sets she swore were for good company. I'm the oldest grandchild, so I volunteered to help Mom and my Aunt Lisa tackle the attic. Dad was in charge of repairs, and my younger cousin Jake documented items for a potential estate sale. For the first few days, everything went smoothly. We laughed over vintage clothes, argued good-naturedly about who'd inherit Grandma's bread box, and ordered greasy pizza every night. But tension simmered underneath, like a storm cloud waiting for a crack of thunder. Lisa made little digs about how Mom never visited enough. Mom snapped back that Lisa disappeared whenever Grandma needed help. I chalked it up to grief until I found the trunk. The trunk was tucked behind boxes of Christmas ornaments. Its brass latch was tarnished, but it opened easily. Inside lay old photos, a bundle of dried roses, and a neat stack of envelopes bound with twine. Curiosity got the better of me. I slipped one envelope free. The handwriting belonged to Grandma, but the letter wasn't addressed to anyone I recognized. To my dearest Helen, I pray this never reaches the wrong hands, but I can't carry this guilt forever. The letter revealed that Grandma once had a daughter before Mom and Lisa were born, a child she gave up for adoption in 1968 because her strict parents threatened to disown her. I felt like the floor tilted beneath me. Grandma had another child? Did Mom and Lisa know? I called Jake over and showed him the letter. He stared at the paper, then at me, eyes wide. We can't just keep this to ourselves. That night, over takeout, I cleared my throat and laid the letter on the table. Mom and Lisa froze. Lisa was the first to speak. Where did you find that? In the attic, I said. In a trunk. Mom picked up the paper with shaking hands. Her face softened with something between shock and recognition. I knew, she whispered. Lisa gasped. You knew? Mom admitted Grandma had confided in her years ago, but begged her not to tell anyone, promising she'd explain when the time was right. Lisa was furious. She accused Mom of hoarding family secrets and always playing favorite. Mom shot back that Lisa wasn't around enough to earn Grandma's trust. Jake and I exchanged nervous looks as their voices rose. The walls of the bungalow seemed to shrink. After a sleepless night, I suggested we find out what happened to the baby, now a grown adult somewhere. The idea gave us a purpose beyond arguing. Using the adoption year and city, we scoured online records and old church bulletins stored in Grandma's desk. Eventually, we found a lead, a woman named Claire who matched the details. Lisa hesitated. What if she doesn't want to be found? But Mom insisted Grandma clearly regretted her decision and probably wanted them to connect. We crafted a respectful email, explaining who we were and offering to share memories of the woman who'd given Claire life. Then we waited, tension thrumming through the house like electricity. Claire replied 2 days later. She'd always known she was adopted, but never had information about her birth mother. She was stunned and moved to learn she'd had siblings all along. We arranged to meet at a cafe near her home. I'll never forget how surreal it felt when Claire walked in. She looked so much like Grandma that my throat tightened. The meeting was awkward at first. Claire was polite but cautious. Slowly, stories about Grandma's kindness and stubbornness broke the ice. By the end of the afternoon, Claire hugged Mom and Lisa with tears in her eyes. Selling the bungalow took longer than planned because none of us wanted to rush through the changes. Claire joined us a few weekends, helping sort furniture and sharing memories of her adoptive parents. There were still rough patches. Lisa struggled with guilt for resenting Mom instead of understanding the burden she carried. Mom had to face her own frustration about Grandma's secrecy. But Claire's steady warmth helped all of us heal. By the time the for sale sign went up, our family looked different, wider, a little messier, but stronger. Sometimes I stand outside the house, remembering how heavy that trunk felt in my hands, how close we came to letting anger tear us apart. Instead, we found a sister, a bridge to the past, and a reason to let old grudges go.